Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Posttopostpod podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chris Ronan. Before we start this off, I do want to say thank you to Corona Premier for sponsoring the podcast. And we're coming down to the final episodes of the podcast that's going on. But before I guess we talk about that, I do want to say this entire night, because we're recording Thursday, you have been pumped, you've been amped about the Vegas Golden Knights, and here we are, Florida Panthers winning it in OT. How are we feeling tonight?
Not too thrilled that my co-host wants me to lose money. I have a pretty big bet riding on the Florida Panthers, on the Vegas Golden Knights to win the entire thing, and my buddy here is just screaming in my ear about a goddamn overtime winning game that they squeaked out.
Yeah, baby.
Barely squeaked it out.
Bobrovsky holding it down, baby.
Knights and 5, baby. Knights and 5.
What's the number you got on the Vegas Golden Knights if you win?
I don't like to disclose that information for tax purposes, but
okay, all right.
I got some money coming in the door. That's all that matters. And this guy doesn't give a fuck.
There is some money. I think this is the first time we're actually kind of headbutting here, because I've been all in on the Florida Panthers here, and you're all in on the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah,
so it's kind of some headbutting going on.
I'm kind of nervous. I'm going away for a bachelor party this weekend, and I really want to bring the jersey that's hung up behind me, but I don't know if it's bad mojo for me to take it down and bring it. I could jinx it, because this hasn't come down.
It hasn't come down
since
in weeks.
Since the Stanley Cup playoffs started.
Yeah.
And we kind of left it up there. We didn't really talk about the Golden Knights the first couple weeks of playoffs, right?
No.
So I kind of want to. I feel like if I take it down, I'm going to fuck with something.
Yeah. There's going to be some bad,
but I think I might risk it.
There's going to be some bad juju in the air as soon as you take that down.
I know. But, my other option is to wear my Florida Panthers tank top. I think I might do that and mush them. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to wear the Panthers tank top this weekend. And me wearing it and supporting them, everyone at the bachelor party is going to give me shit because the Panthers knocked out the Bruins, right? I'm going to have a terrible weekend, but I'm going to get paid. That's how it's all going to work out.
How you're going to counteract this loss.
You got to think big, you know?
Mm-hmm.
3 steps ahead.
Okay.
Playing checkers, not chess. You know?
It's a so what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a race. It's a I guess it is.
It's a buffet.
It's a buffet. Buffet of just winning games. So we haven't seen anyone. We haven't done the podcast last week. This is 2 weeks without an episode. Last week. Whole entire week without any games being played. Again, Florida Panthers and Vegas kind of coming in on both almost sweeps. So it gave us a whole week without any hockey whatsoever and very little news to talk about. So we decided to take that week off because we're just...
Didn't Vegas go 6?
Would have been
I think Vegas went 6.
Did they win 6?
I think they went 6, yeah. I think they played Monday, maybe Saturday or Friday. I think we
that
watched the game the Friday that we last recorded.
Yeah.
And then recorded, and then I think they played maybe Sunday, Monday.
And then that was it.
Yeah, so we there wasn't really much to cover other than Vegas moving on, you know.
But here we are in the Stanley Cup Finals, and we're gonna do our normal routine here. Let's dive into news first, and then at the end of it, we'll talk about the Stanley Cup Finals here because I feel like even if I didn't take any notes here, I feel like I'm able to fucking talk about this. You ready to go into this? All right, so we're going to start off with some signs that happened this week. So there's been signs and head coach moves that's happened this week. Actually, a lot of them. So we're going to get right into the big one here. So the Canadiens have signed Cole Caulfield to an 8-year contract extension worth $62.8 million, which is $7.85 million AAV. Caulfield had 26 goals and 10 assists in 46 games played last year. Caulfield was the Canadiens' first-round pick in 2019, which was 15th overall. Big extension, I should say, here for the Canadiens. Really saying that Cole Caulfield's a guy. This is, for the Canadiens, I feel like it's just such a weird team. Again, when we're talking about this, for the past 2 years, they were just injury-ridden. That was it. They're not a bad team. It's just all the good players have just been on the IR. So, what do you do in this offseason? Do you just try to figure out players' IR, what's going on, and then move from them? Or do you just kind of wait for them to all come back? Regardless, I like this sign by Cole Caulfield.
I do like the sign. I wouldn't say the Canadiens are a good team. They do have a lot of injuries. Trying to get my fucking laptop to load here. But I don't know. I think they're definitely too young. I think that Cole Caulfield is going to be the future there. I think if you lock him in for 8 years at, just under $8 million, that's going to work out very nicely down the line when the salary cap goes up. He's going to be locked in at a very fair price.
Yeah.
He's putting in, what did we say, 20 goals this year?
Yeah.
26 goals and 10 assists.
Yep.
I mean, I think he's going to continue to produce. He's going to grow up with this same, youth core that's captained by a young Nick Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
You have Uri Slavkovsky on the lineup as well,
Yeah.
Kirby Doc. It's going to be very good in time. Right now, it is not very good. They are going to be bad for a few years. Their D, they don't have a single name on D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a big name.
Mm-hmm.
Their top line with Drew in. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year. That would be a big one for him. Rem Pitlick is a guy that's
good.
stepped up, but he's coming along.
Yep.
Gallagher, how much longer is he going to have gas in the tank? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
From there, it kind of fades a little bit. But you're right, when I'm looking at the IR from the last game of the regular season, Slavkovsky, Caulfield, Jack-Eye, Doc. I don't know. This team, I think, is going to be outside of the playoffs for at least 2 or 3 years, barring any major moves, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think they have the right team here. They have the right coach. They have the right staff. Everything is going to get better as the years go on.
Right.
It's just something that's a work in progress. It's going to take time. Even their goaltending core is young, Sam Montembeault and Caden Primo. So
Right.
it's just not something that's going to work right away. They're going to be like the Anaheim Ducks. Same category as them, I think.
Oh, I like that comparison. Yeah, just a young team. Just needs to be full healthy and
Yeah,
just ready
so
to go.
I would say there's teams like Montreal, Anaheim, Detroit. Have the young guys ready to go. We'll see where it takes them, but don't look at the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's teams like the Blackhawks, the Coyotes, who are just bottom of the barrel. Let's get bad to get good, down the line. I think they're a step ahead of those teams, but they're in that next category of we're just not built like that yet. We're looking at the future. We're not looking at the now.
Right. It's funny to hear Detroit in that list because as soon as I said it, I had to think, and I'm like, because Detroit has been like this veteran, elderly team for so long, but now that you think about it, more outside of the whole kind of new team that's coming in, a lot of young guys. So yeah, I guess it kind of runs.
Another young captain there too, and Dylan Larkin.
Yeah. Yep. So moving on from that signing, we also have the Blackhawks. They signed Andreas Athanasiou to a 2-year extension worth $8.5 million, $4.25 million AAV. He had 20 goals and 20 assists last year with Chicago. Again, Chicago right now in full-blown revamp mode, rebuild mode, trying to figure shit out here. They got the first-round pick this coming draft for, we're all going to assume now, Connor Bedard. So they're trying to make something of themselves here. And I really like Athanasiou here too. Athanasiou was a great player for the LA Kings when he played for the LA Kings, and hopefully he can just keep it up here with the Chicago Blackhawks, as he has 20 goals, 20 assists here with them. So
the money's great for a second line center. I would have liked to see more term than a 2-year deal for this guy. They aren't really, tying their raft to any boat. They're not saying you're the guy, you're what's gonna be a Chicago Blackhawk for years to come.
Let's figure it out.
They don't have anyone like that at all, and I think that's a big red flag. What are we doing here? I guess it's Seth Jones. That's really the big
right
name
now?
that you're gonna go on. But I do think you need 2 or 3 of those guys of you're who we rely on. You're our guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll see. I think the Jonathan Taves, still no update, right? He
Still
might
no
not
update
even
on
be
that.
playing next year.
Yeah.
So that could bump Athanasiou up to your first line center, and you're paying him $4.25 million,
Shit.
saving a ton of money.
Yeah.
But you've only signed him for 2 years, one,
Mm-hmm.
and 2, Athanasiou is now your first line center. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
kind of weird to think.
what are we doing here? It's
Right.
it's an AHL roster at that point.
Mhm.
Nothing against Athanasiou. I do love the player, but
And it's kind of what you see during a rebuild. It really kind of is. Just you're going to see this kind of shit for a rebuilding team. So
it's just hard to see because usually there's either a young bright star at the center of it in a rebuild or a decent veteran that's going to be around for 3 to 5 more years to see you through the rebuild. This is just bare bones. We have nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how I look at this team,
Right.
at least.
yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's move on from that, though. So former LA Kings, we'll go to LA Kings here. They signed defenseman Vladislav Gavrikov to another 2-year, $11.75 million, $5.87 mil AAV contract. Gavrikov had 6 goals and 13 assists between Columbus and LA last season. Gavrikov is all kind of fit in for the LA Kings. I like the LA Kings. They're like those random like middle sneaky team in like the West that you kind of don't think about because they're just, I wouldn't say bad, but they're just like okay at best for like so long, the past like 5, 6, whatever seasons. But they'll sneak into the playoffs. They're like one of the lower top teams, I guess, in the West that like they're always kind of like right there. And I think LA Kings are just trying to find those pieces to the puzzle that they need to really push through. And I think Gavrikov is going to really help them out. I think it really helps Gavrikov out coming out from Columbus, which is one of the worst teams in the league last season, or I should say this season, to LA Kings, who's I would say a lot better too. So it'll definitely be like a motivation for him. So good signing here for the LA Kings. See what he can do.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I do think that they're looking for like the last few pieces to round out their lineup to like be a real team. Jonas Korpisalo came over at the deadline as well, and now Gavrikov getting inked to a couple more years.
Yep.
Second line deep here, $5.87 mil. I like that a lot. Not a lot of big names on the defenseman side of the free agent market at the trade deadline. He was one of the guys that was like highly touted and like people were kind of shopping a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him land here for 5.87, I love that. I think that's really good for the team.
Right.
They're trending in the right direction. I would put these guys in with like, where was I? Like Detroit, right outside of the playoffs, like a fringe kind of team, you know?
I see what you're saying,
I think they'll either sneak in as the 8 seed or they'll be on the outside looking in, which kind of sucks.
Like just outside, I would say.
And as a GM at the trade deadline, when you're sitting there, it's very tempting to make a move and, you know, make a big splash and say, we're going to make a push for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what this team needs. I think this team needs to kind of just, you know, assess, and wherever you are at the trade deadline, kind of just let's hold this season and see how it goes. Mm-hmm. If we get in, that's great. If we don't, that's fine too.
Right.
We're just running this season as it goes because we don't want to, you know, mortgage the future to, you know, get in now.
Right.
I think they need to look down the line as well.
Nailed it. I like it. So we have a trade that happened this week, and if you've seen it, I'm sure there's confusion here. So the way I put it down just kind of makes more sense, I guess. We had a 3-way trade this week that went between the Flyers, the Blue Jackets, and the Kings. Ironically, we just talked about all three. So the 3-way trade this week. So I'm not gonna say who traded who or what traded what. I'm just gonna say who got what, I should say. So in the 3-way trade, the Flyers acquired the 2023 first-round pick, which is number 22 overall, defenseman Sean Walker, goalie Cal Peterson, defenseman Helgs Grands, who's part of the Ontario Reign, 2024 second-round pick, and 2024 or 2025 second-round pick. And then the LA Kings acquired defenseman Kevin Connaughton and forward Hayden Hodgson. And lastly, the Blue Jackets acquired defenseman Ivan Provorov, and LA retained 30% of his cap. Before we go into this, the Flyers are also working on a trade involving Carter Hart. So be on the lookout for that. Nothing, as of recording, nothing on it, but it could happen this week. So big moves here for the Flyers. But I was confused as shit. I think I sent you, either you sent me this or I sent you this throughout the week, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And you were able to break it down for me. So this is a lot of acquirees for the Flyers here. What's your take on, especially the defenseman pickup here for Sean Walker? I like Sean Walker, and I like goalie. I like the goalie Cal Peterson here. But if you're gonna shop, sorry, what the hell am I trying to say? Carter Hart here. If you're going to ship Carter Hart and grab Cal Peterson, do you think that's a 1-for-1 at that point for the Flyers? Or do you think
you're saying, do I think Cal Peterson's going to come in and fill Carter Hart's shoes?
Yeah.
Yes, because I don't think they're very big shoes to fill at the moment. You know, how bad Philly was last season. I think Cal Peterson's coming in with a fresh outlook on life. Like, okay, I performed well here. Now I'm coming to this team. The team did not perform well as a team, so now I'm coming in. I'm going to be doing the brunt of the work. This could end up like a John Gibson type situation, where you're a really good goalie on a pretty bad team. And I think it's a can't-lose situation for Cal Peterson coming in here.
Yeah.
I do think the winner of this trade is going to be the Columbus Blue Jackets at the end of the day, though, because getting Ivan Provorov, one of the highest regarded young defensemen in the league,
Yep.
at a 30% discount of what he was getting paid at before.
Yeah.
They traded away a lot of prospects, picks, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to put a big name defenseman in the lineup with Johnny Gaudreau, Patrick Laine under their new head coach, who we're going to get to later on. I'll leave that as a little teaser.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Blue Jackets are going to be looking the best out of this. I think the Flyers are now starting to look at, here's what we need to do to make things work this season.
Yeah.
A 22 overall pick in 2023 is going to be great for the team.
Yeah.
A new face in net. You don't have a guy who now has, I don't want to say the mental, pressure that Carter Hart did, but I do think the Flyers fan base put a lot of pressure on him personally.
Yep.
And I don't think Cal Peterson's going to face that because he's not this young guy that we drafted. He's our guy. He needs to be our stud.
Right.
Our new Carey Price. You know?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And then I think LA is just kind of there. Here's a couple prospects,
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. LA's kind of just like, here's a few things.
I'll help out a little. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this will help out with like some key pieces here that you're looking for that we were just talking about. But yeah, a lot of acquirees here. It says a lot about the Flyers here too, because you're just talking about the 2023 first round pick, and they're also looking at next year 2 picks there too, both second round picks. So Flyers looking for now and in the future here. So
what do you think about LA moving on from Cal Peterson? They're looking at Jonas Corposalo and Phoenix Copley in net now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was actually trying to think of that, too. Cal Peterson is a weird situation. It was Cal Peterson and Jonathan Quick for a while, and I thought those two kind of mixed pretty well, I would say. And it's kind of weird to see that the LA Kings were just like, I feel like all of a sudden within like a few months, we're just going to ship both of our goalies and kind of reset here, and now they have both Jonas Corposalo and Phoenix Copley here. But
so what I think LA saw in like the tea leaves when they're looking at the season, like probably around the trade deadline last year when they picked up Corposalo, was we have Jonathan Quick, we have Cal Peterson, and Phoenix Copley.
Mm-hmm.
Now obviously Quick's getting older. I think they were looking to like ship him for whatever they can get for him because he's gonna end up becoming, he's walking for nothing.
Yeah.
So let's try and trade him and get something in the door. Behind that, you now have a Phoenix Copley and a Cal Peterson who are going to duke it out for the top spot. We don't really have a clear starter, like who's our guy out of these two. I think they saw what happened in Pittsburgh and said, we have a Tristan Jarry and, oh God, who's the other goalie in Pittsburgh?
Casey DeSmith.
Casey DeSmith situation where Phoenix Copley and Cal Peterson are going to be duking it out for that top spot. And look where it put Pittsburgh. Now they don't really have a clear starter. Who's our goalie? They flip-flopped. This guy's confidence is shot and that guy's confidence is shot. Mm-hmm. So we sell Quick for what we can. We pick a guy and say Copley's our guy, but he's not ready yet.
Right.
And now we bring in a clear starter. We have a clear backup. We give the backup time to develop, and we move on from the other asset in Cal Peterson.
Yeah.
That's what I think they did, and I think it's going to work out for them because as the playoffs show, tandems don't really get it done.
No.
You know what I mean? No. Like, it's Bobrovsky and it's Aiden Hill.
Yeah.
As weird as it sounds, for those two guys to be the guys, the number of goalies that have played this postseason is fucking ridiculous. Yeah. I want to say it was at 28 before getting into the conference finals.
Wild.
It's probably over 30 now.
Yeah.
Just because of how many guys have come in and gone out,
got hurt.
Different names.
Yeah.
But I still rely on the fact that the guys that end up winning the cup are hot the entire way through the postseason. It's not a tandem that wins the cup.
No.
And I think teams understand that. And they're also looking at teams that get, I'm going on a tangent now.
That's fine.
But the teams that get to the finals aren't built to be small, skilled, fast, new NHL teams. It still needs that grit, that grind, that heavy wear and tear of a playoff, type team.
Yeah.
So I think that you're going to see guys start to, I don't want to say like the talent's going to fade a little, but like these young prospects that are coming into the league are going to look at that and say, hey, I need to get in the fucking gym. Yeah. I need to get bigger and bulkier to be able to handle that kind of game and add that to my tool bag.
Right. The Stanley Cup playoffs, just in general, you're dead on. We're just like, if you have a brand new team, best team in the NHL, and they come into the playoffs, playoff hockey is just totally fucking different all around. It's for those new kids. It's just like it's a whole new world. It's like a whole new like step in like their pro careers where it's just like, holy shit, like I'm not ready for this.
Whole
at all.
nother level, yeah.
It's a whole nother, because it's just exactly what you just said. I'm getting hit by the same guys like day in, day out.
7 days in a row.
7 days in a fucking row. I gotta somehow get my body used to it because we play every other day. And if we win this series, hey, guess what? We're gonna go on to the next series. And that next series, we're gonna be facing a team that's better than the guys we beat to get to that next level. It's just like, and you got all these guys. Yeah, it's all these veterans too. Like we just saw Jonathan Quick talk to Aiden Hill today, just to kind of be like, what's going on, to kind of help him through it. It's those guys that know mentally what it takes and physically what it takes. You see at the end of the Stanley Cup Finals of like how many guys are just playing with like the most ridiculous like injuries, like guys with like broken just bones and just bruises all over the place. Just like, yeah, just you figure it out, and then you realize like this is what it takes to get here, and you get your body used to it, and you kind of push through. But for like the young guys that don't know, they go into the playoffs, get hurt, don't know what the fuck to do, and it's kind of all over. And then it's a learning stage for them, because then next year when they get into the playoffs, they're just like, this is where my body needs to be. This is what it's gonna take.
And I think the other thing that is spotlighted by this year's playoffs is the depth that it takes to get into the final round of the Stanley Cup. Like, I think Vegas is rolling all four lines very well. They're matching up their fourth line guys, Keegan Colasar, up with, the Matthew Tkachuk line. And that's crazy to think about to me. But, like, think about the depth scoring that the Panthers have gotten just to get to the Stanley Cup Finals as well.
Right.
You need those third and fourth lines to be just as good as your top lines when it comes time to, play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
It's crazy shit. Like, I can't imagine being a player just in general to have to go through that and figure it out. Like the pain.
Yeah, I think the hardest part right now across all these teams in the league are new or beginning, starting to build their teams up GMs, trying to figure out like, how do I make that happen? How do I not front load a team? Like I look at Edmonton, I single out Toronto definitely with overloading contracts on 5 to 7 guys, and now your bottom lines, like they can't roll 4 lines because the top lines are just, here's all your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can spread out a team of like $3 million guys and have a couple like stars that shine among those groups, that's how you get it done. I think it's weird to think about, but
yeah, there's so much involved with it.
Yeah,
it's wild. It's just, oof, it's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. I think you nailed it though too when you were kind of breaking it down. Like it is just like, and I feel like every team is just different. Like how you said, like gut and grind, like it'll work. You need it, but every team's different. Like some teams need more of the gut and grind. Some teams need the gut and grind, but less than like the other team. You know?
Yeah.
Just for everything to work out
for a balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So we have some NHL head coach and GM news here, but there's 2 things I want to talk about before we even get into that. Kind of take a break from these trades and everything. The first one I thought was weird. So weird NHL captain history for literally no reason. Since 1924 to 2022, there have only been 6 different nationalities of Stanley Cup winning captains. 83 of them were Canadian. And second is the U.S. with only 3. Russia and Sweden with 2, and Slovakia and the United Kingdom with 1. For this Stanley Cup Finals, Alexander Barkov could be the first Finnish captain to win the Cup in NHL history, which I thought was actually pretty interesting.
Don't forget my boy Mark Stone. He could be the 84th Canadian captain to win the Stanley Cup, all right?
Yeah, Barkov, I can see Barkov winning that,
It's never been done before. That's what I'll say.
Never been done before, exactly. If you heard me talk about the one United Kingdom UK captain, I went down a rabbit hole trying to find who the hell it was. I found a huge list of names, and I was like Googling every single one of them. I'm like, who's the United Kingdom captain that it's on the stat thing, but I'm like, I don't know who it is. And then when you go down like the further level, like 1924 to like 1940, like hockey is just so fucking weird. There were so many.
Wait, so you couldn't figure out who the UK captain was?
No, I couldn't.
Oh wow.
There was like the early like 1920s, 1940s, like I was talking about. It's really weird. There was a lot of times where like there was no captains like at all, or there were just like Like at one point I saw 3 captains or like 2 captains or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like NHL was kind of just like a lawless society at that point. So I was like, couldn't find it. And if you Google United Kingdom, if you look up like Britain or British or UK NHL captain, you can't fucking find it. There's like a name that comes up, and then you Google it. You Google his name, and he doesn't play for the NHL. Never played for the NHL. But he was like a captain for like the Great Britain World Championship or whatever for the IIHF. I'm like, who the fuck is this UK captain you're talking about?
Yeah,
So,
I do want to know who it was.
Yeah, see, now you're down my rabbit hole.
Oh,
I think I was on.
I can't be googling it here.
I was on it for a solid like half hour, 35 minutes, just like racking my brain. I'm like, who the fuck? All right, well, while you do that,
It's probably gonna be something from like the fucking 40s, 50s. I don't know, but
I don't know.
UK. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. So next up is the Rangers here. We're just talking about the Chicago Blackhawks and Jonathan Toews here. But let's get into Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane had hip resurfacing surgery and has a 4 to 6 month recovery. There have been reports that the surgery ruins careers. Washington Capitals' Nick Backstrom came from hip resurfacing surgery this year. He had 7 goals and 14 assists with a negative 25 plus minus in only 39 games played. The Athletics' Craig Custance did a story in 2014 on Florida Panthers defenseman Ed Jovanovski getting the procedure done. Jovanovski, I was working on this too, described the surgery in the article. They dislocate your joint, pull it out of your leg, then shave the femoral head down to a certain size and cap it with titanium. Then do the same for your socket, shaving it out of the socket, hammering it into the new socket where everything kind of joins together. Jovanovski went through a long rehabilitation process, a full year, by the way, and went on to play only 37 more games in the NHL during the 2013-2014 season. The sad part is this is considered the most successful return for an NHLer after getting resurfacing done. So,
I think I'm gonna jump in if that's all right.
Yep.
I think Patrick Kane isn't looking at this and saying, I need to do what's gonna get me back on the ice and have the most success. I think he's looking at this in a Jack Eichel kind of way. I need to do what's best for me. Like Jack Eichel was looking at, what was it, a shoulder that he had surgery on, I believe?
Something like that.
And he was saying, I'm going to do this, or it was his back. I forget, his neck. Whatever. He's like, I need to do what's best for me, even though it's, this specific surgery that I want done that has no, science behind it. I want to try it and get it done. I think Kane is also saying, obviously I do want to get back and play hockey, but this is the best option for me, so that's what I'm going to do. It is crazy to think about, though, that he is now a free agent on the market, out 4 to 6 months, and arguably may not return.
Yeah.
He's got to be up there in age. I want to say, 39 maybe? I could be wrong. I'll look that up in a minute. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be a wait-and-see thing. I don't think anyone is going to sign him until they see that he has returned from this, rehab situation. Jesus Christ, he's 34 years old. What an asshole I am. That's what happens when you think when you try to talk.
As you said 39, I was like, he'll look it up.
But I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't expect to see him play next season.
I can't see it either.
It's 4 to 6 month recovery, and then I think a little more than that.
And then as a UFA, you're just in la la
At least
land.
he did it now.
Yeah.
He got it done the second that his team's out.
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's nuts. But just to think that 37 more games in the NHL after such a surgery is the most successful return for an NHLer is kind of wild to think. So, I don't know. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, but not a lot of people have done it. I think that's like a different strokes for different folks kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, Jovanovski was probably old when he had it done as well. And, maybe maybe he tried and just same thing. Like, I need to do what's best for me. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, whatever. And that was also 10 years ago. So medicine has hopefully come a long way. Maybe they've learned a better way to do this. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. But just some facts for Patrick Kane there. So I guess
imagine someone So 4 to 6 months from now would be, October to December.
Yeah.
Someone can sign him, and I don't know, imagine him like right before the trade deadline, sign him with someone, and kind of like he did with the Rangers this season, just like a splash in the market, and like another team is like, wow, we have a guy to get us over the hump.
That'd be a story and a half.
It would be, yeah.
Well, we'll have to call back this.
I wonder if he'd go back to New York.
That's a good question.
Go back to the Rangers again.
Go back to the Rangers.
I wonder if they'd even free up enough cap space for him to come back.
Philadelphia Flyers.
I don't think he's going there. I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs next season at the trade deadline.
I don't know. We'll see.
Islanders, too. Imagine just right over to the Islanders.
Oh, New Jersey Devils. LA Kings.
No, I think he's going to be – he wants another cup, so he's going to be going for a team that's
going to win.
Has space for a fucking top 20 guy in the league, but wants to win a cup. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like – they're not really going to have that, Pat. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, there's some food for thought for everyone for the week. So let's
snack on that for lunch.
All right, so let's get back into some signings here. So this is the NHL head coach and GM news that we had this week, and boy, howdy, do we have a lot. The Nashville
howdy.
The Nashville Predators, perfect timing for that, fired head coach John Hines and hired Andrew Brunette. Things are already changing with this move by new GM Barry Schwartz. Barry Schwartz,
dude, nice. Dude. Unreal.
I'm not gonna change that. Who will replace David Poile on July 1st? Hines leaves the organization with an overall 134 wins, 96 losses, and 18 overtime losses. Hines spent 4 seasons with the Predators after replacing Peter Laviolette on January 7th, 2020. The Preds reached the playoffs with Hines' first 2 full seasons, losing in the first round both times. The Predators failed to qualify for this postseason this year since 2014 after a 42-32-8 record. This will be the first head coaching job for Brunette since he was named interim head coach for the Florida Panthers on October 28th, 2021. Brunette was an assistant for Joel Quenneville there and was promoted to replace him after he resigned from the Chicago Blackhawks from the Kyle Beach lawsuit. Florida's general manager Bill Zito ultimately did not remove the interim position from Brunette, instead hired Paul Maurice as the Panthers' next full-time coach, which is how we got here. Brunette moved to an assistant role with the New Jersey Devils for the 2022-2023 season. Brunette is back in a familiar territory with Nashville, a veteran who played in 1,110 career NHL games. He spent the 98-99 season with the Predators and scored their first goal in the expansion team's history. So a little bit of history with Brunette here and the Nashville Predators here. So good, hopefully a good pickup for the Nashville Predators. It's good to have a guy that's played definitely like over 1,000 games played in the NHL, has been an interim head coach, has been a head coach, has like kind of like made his rounds, you know. So good little be like, let's see how you do here.
My only thing with this team is like I don't understand moving on from John Hines. Like I don't think this is a team that's like we need to shake something up. This guy sucks. Like he's Daryl Sutter. He's not fucking reaching our guys. He's just being old school and asshole.
We also talk about the scapegoatness of
like I think that's exactly what this is. Like I don't even think he, like you said, he's got a winning record with the team. I don't think he has a bad resume. The team had a bad year last year. Yes.
Right.
I don't attribute that to the coach. I think that the roster wasn't great, which let me say maybe it's they have a new GM. Barry Trotz came in, I want to say last year or the year before. So he's still working with what was left to him basically. Mm-hmm. But I don't see a reason to move on from Hines. Give him some time. Give the team some time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really understand moving on from him.
No.
I do think, however, that for Andrew Brunette, like this guy has been hosed left and right, dude. Like he got the interim quote for the Panthers, and then they picked just a completely different guy. Like basically blindsided him when they picked Paul Maurice. Listen, I don't blame them for it because Paul Maurice is a great coach, especially in Winnipeg when he was there before that. Yep. At the time, it was a great idea as well. Yeah. Before that, he also was getting ready to take over the Chicago job when Joel Quenneville resigned.
Yeah.
and then that ended up not
Got
happening.
fucking hosed.
So he really hasn't been given the opportunity of a head coaching job.
Mhm.
I just didn't expect the Nashville Predators to be, the first team to pick him up. Like, there's been a lot of teams that have looked for head coaches and like hired head coaches, and like Burnett's name has kind of just been sent to the wayside for some reason. I feel like I'm very glad to see this for him, but I also don't understand it for John Hines.
I don't either.
We'll see.
But we'll see where John Hines ends up. I again, nothing wrong with him whatsoever, but I mean, we've talked about this till we're blue in the face here, where the fucking head coaches are always the ones to blame instead of just a bad season, which it really was for the Nashville Predators. Kind of wild to think.
And honestly, like, not all that bad. They barely missed the playoffs. I feel like they were right outside.
The first time they didn't make the playoffs since 2014. Like, you had a good run. It's almost 10 years. Like, you're gonna miss the playoffs eventually. You had a bad season,
and that's a team that's seen a lot of turnover in probably the last 3 to 5 years. You know, a lot of players fading out and new players coming in.
Yep. So I don't know, but I guess we'll see. We'll see. Maybe this is a good push for the Nashville Predators here. Who fucking knows at this point?
Nice.
But gotta be truthful here. So let's move on to the Washington Capitals. The Caps are replacing Peter Laviolette with Spencer Carberry as their next head coach. Carberry becomes the 20th head coach in Capitals franchise history and returns to the organization after spending the last 2 seasons as an assistant coach with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Prior to joining Toronto, Carberry served as head coach of the Washington's AHL affiliate, the Hershey Bears, for 3 seasons from 2018 to 2021. Under Carberry, Hershey posted a combined record of 104, 50, and 9, including an AHL best 24-7-2 record in his final season behind the Bears bench in 2020-2021. Carberry received the Louis A.R. Peary Memorial Award as AHL's outstanding coach for the 2020-2021 season, becoming the 5th coach in Hershey's franchise history to win the award. So, I give this guy a go, I guess. Nothing too much with the NHL, but doing really good for the AHL here, coaching-wise. So, maybe Washington Capitals are just like, we're gonna open the door for you to see what you can do here in the pros.
Yeah, this is what I chimed in on last episode about like the new coaches and the old coaches, because there's definitely a generational gap between the guys who have been doing it as long as they have, in the Laviolettes, Babcocks, Sutters, you name them, right? Mm-hmm. There's guys that have been doing it for a very long time. There's guys that have just gotten their opportunity after being assistants. And there's this new wave of guys that I think NHL teams are going to start to use way more often. And it's guys that have proven themselves in a minor league, in the AHL, in the WHL. They take them from their own farm teams and turn them into their new head coach. They're growing with their own prospects and their players, so they know the team, they know the guys, they know what they're working with. It's like, instead of, let's just use Peter Laviolette because he's the guy that's there. I'm not saying that he's this way, whatever. He's working with bricks, you know what I mean? Like heavy, hard. I don't really understand what I'm working with. Let's build a castle. Whereas Spencer Carberry's coming in with Play-Doh, and he knows what he's working with and can create something more, finite, and he knows what he has to work with. So I think teams are going to start to look at this in 2 different ways. Like, it's definitely more of a gamble to take a guy that isn't a proven NHL commodity, but I think that when they're more hands-on and they know their players that much better, it's more of a people, like a person-to-person job than it is a I know what I'm doing job.
Yeah,
you
I'm the boss job.
Right, that's what I think. I think that's what it's becoming.
Right.
It's like, trending in that direction.
You're working as one instead of working for someone,
So I think the next 3 or 4 years is where this is going to start to prove itself. If teams, when they bring their own guy in, let's see how long of a leash they give him. Are they going to use him as a scapegoat and just gas him if they need to? Mm-hmm. Or are they going to give it, call it 6 to 8 years, which is a long time for a coach, but it's a long time for a coach because he's taking his own prospects and turning them into NHL guys.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's the way that you have to do it when you pick a guy like this. Like, it's a much longer-term commitment because, I mean, obviously, you can go scapegoat him whenever you want and bring in whoever you want. Yeah. But I think when you do this, you need to give them a longer leash to work.
Mm-hmm. Right. Nope. Dead on. There is I want to yin to your yang here, just like the black to your white. When we're talking about like the years to come and the new head coaches and the way they're just like, it's going to be person to first person. I put it here in the notes. It's not official yet, and I hope to God it's not going to be official. But from what I've read, it's really looking like Columbus is leading the way of signing Mike Babcock as a new head coach.
I do think that is going to happen.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
that's what
happen.
I'm hearing.
Nothing is official yet, but I have this in there just in case. But that's the complete opposite of.
It's crazy that they went from Torts, right?
Torts, yeah.
And they I
It's
forget
like
who they brought in.
They want those old school guys. For
They
some
do,
reason.
because I think if you bring in, like, Torts was, let's call it 4 or 5 years ago, 2018, when Columbus bounced Tampa before they went on their runs.
Something like that.
So that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So now Columbus has reworked their entire team, got rid of what they didn't want and brought in what they did want. Now they're very young, they're new. And I think that they see it as the first year or two, you put a hard head coach on these guys. They learn discipline. They learn to work hard. They get a regiment of, like, I need to fucking bust my ass to impress this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you gas him and you bring in the young guy who knows how to work with these players. And now they know all of the elements of, like, hard work, discipline, responsibility, all that shit.
Right.
But they don't have to be reprimanded in a bad way now, because that's not how new school is.
It works, yeah.
So I think that they get, like, I would almost call it military, like, right? Military
Right.
training,
Mm-hmm.
and they then get to apply it how it needs to be applied properly,
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not against it. It's been a few years since they've had something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also not for it. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
no.
I think I'm okay without it.
Yeah.
I also think a guy like Johnny Gaudreau was like, fuck me, dude. I just left fucking Daryl Sutter, and now we're bringing in fucking Mike Babcock. Like, fuck. And Patrick Laine, who had it in with fucking Winnipeg. He's like, I hate this place. I want to leave. And now it's like, here's Mike Babcock to fucking crack the whip. I'm like,
Son of a
great.
bitch.
Now I hate this place and I want to leave again.
I did not fucking think of Johnny
Right?
Hockey
Like,
for a
both those
second.
guys had gripes with their old coaches, their old teams.
Yeah.
And they go to Columbus, and it's kind of like new. I don't know why, but they love it in Ohio. Like, what the fuck? What is that?
I know Mike Commodore has already been on Twitter just fucking roasting him. Any chance he's got, Mike Commodore is always on Twitter and just, like, fucking shitting
Yeah.
on Babcock
Nuts.
when he can.
We'll see where that goes.
Yeah,
But
well,
I think that is in the tea leaves, I guess,
Yeah.
is the word I'll use again.
I like it. So moving here for the Anaheim Ducks, they hired Greg Cronin as the new head coach. He was the head coach for the Colorado Eagles of the AHL for the past 5 seasons, making the playoffs 3 times out of those 5. He was the assistant coach with the Islanders from 1999 to 2003, and then again in 2014 to 2018, as well as an assistant coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs from 2011 to 2014. So this is a guy that's kind of had it all. Like, in the years past, has been assistant coach for two different teams in the NHL, and now the past 5 seasons was in the AHL. Good little mix there for Greg Cronin here with the Anaheim Ducks. So see what they do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Pat Verbeek's the GM there, and he's kind of like, he's got a good finger on the pulse of the NHL, AHL community. I don't know. Obviously, this is another guy that's in the minors. I don't know much about.
Yeah.
But I do think this is another classic case of, let's take a guy that's hasn't really been given a true shot and give him a chance, because, like, we like what he's doing in the minor leagues and assisting with other teams.
Right.
I think it's good for the Ducks, I guess. I don't really understand a new head coach again here.
Yeah.
They were obviously one of the worst teams in the NHL. Their plus minus was fucking atrocious.
Oh,
Like,
it's bad.
they need to learn how to play system hockey and, like, how about we set up a box here and play defense?
Something, please, for the
but-
love of God.
I think that this is another test, and they shouldn't have.
good.
I don't see why they moved on from their coach. Honestly,
I don't either. But this is a good team for a coach like this to be tested with. Just like, you don't expect much. Just maybe if you make the playoffs, great. If you don't, whatever.
this is also kind of like the opposite of my last point, though. Like, they brought up their own minor league guy, in Washington, and the Ducks are bringing up a minor league guy from another team who doesn't know your prospects and your players. So, like, what I don't see why they moved on from their coach. Like, nothing about last season says, like, it's the coach. Fucking it's the coach. I hate this guy. Get him out of here. This guy sucks. Nothing about last season says that. Like, I think it's just, you have a young team. You need to take some time and pick a guy that's your fucking guy and stick with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how long these guys last. That's really the main thing, is, like, if they try this and they're like, fucking AHL guy doesn't know shit, dude. 2 seasons in and he hasn't won a goddamn thing.
Fuck the coach.
This place sucks.
Get rid of him. Bruce Cassidy and the Vegas Golden Knights.
Where's Mike Babcock? Get over here.
Get over here. Yeah, where's Torts? Someone get the old school guys in here. So I want to do a quick thing with the Pittsburgh Penguins here before jumping into the Toronto Maple Leafs. Actually, they're kind of one and the same here. But Pittsburgh Penguins has hired previous Maple Leafs GM Kyle Dubas as president of hockey operations. Dubas was given a 7-year deal, but there's no amount at the time. I know it just recently happened within the past 2 or 3 days, and the information isn't there. Not much information on Kyle Dubas is here, but he did find a spot in Pittsburgh, so maybe next week I'll have more on it because this kind of just most recently happened.
Interesting that it's president of hockey ops and not GM, though.
Not GM, yep. Yeah. But let's move on to Kyle Dubas's more recent team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have hired Brad Treliving as their GM and Shane Doan as an assistant to GM. Treliving becomes the 18th GM in Maple Leafs history. Treliving joins the Maple Leafs after spending the previous 9 seasons as GM of the Calgary Flames. During his time in Calgary, he had a regular season record of 362 wins, 265 losses, and 73 overtime losses. Pretty even right there. Prior to his time with the Flames, he was vice president of hockey operations and assistant GM with the Phoenix Coyotes for 7 seasons, where he also served as the GM of the Coyotes' AHL affiliate, the Portland Pirates and San Antonio Rampage. Moving on to Shane Doan. Since retiring from the NHL after the 2016-2017 season, he worked as the Coyotes' chief hockey development officer, and he's served as both a coach and a GM for Canada at international level. His Canada team won the Spengler Cup in 2020 and the World's Hockey Championships in 2021 and 2023. Actually, kind of interesting that both of them had some kind of hand on with the Arizona Coyotes. Kind of interesting, yeah. I keep forgetting Shane Doan was part of the Coyotes, or just like even had like a. It's weird. Shane Doan, Wayne Gretzky. They both like feel like top dudes for some reason. They're just like, yeah, let me fucking coach that team real quick. The fucking it won't be a team anymore, but whatever.
Oh my god.
But Shane Doan and Brad Treliving now big wigs for Toronto. How do we feel about this? The move from Kyle Dubas and now, I don't know, I'd say some good names here. Maybe Toronto's moving in the right direction. Shane Doan looking good.
Yeah, I see. It was kind of weird when like Dubas left and then immediately Spezza turns in his papers. He's like, I'm done too. Fuck this.
Yeah.
I kind of thought Spezza was going to stick around for a little bit, but Brad Treliving coming over I think is definitely good. Weird for the Flames to move on from him. I think that the Flames are trending in the right direction and also just had a bad season last year.
Yep.
They are bringing in their own assistant GM to step up and be the main GM now. I think it's Craig Conroy. I could be wrong, though. Shane Doan, though, shout out to him. Like that's awesome that he's finally getting a shot like this.
Yep.
I think that he'll do a great job here. Obviously, as we heard from Kyle Dubas' statements, like it's kind of like everybody has a say when you work in Toronto. So, like, for Treliving to have Shane Doan already as an assistant shows you like he doesn't make decisions on his own there. It's a group think kind of a process. And I think that's going to maybe hinder some Toronto moves here. I do think that they're going to have to sell someone and get a lot of assets back in order to make this team playoff proof. But right now, the team is not built how it needs to be, and these guys have a lot of work to do. That's where I'll leave it.
This is going to be a great combo if the fucking Toronto media could just leave them the fuck alone and just let them do what they need to do. That's my personal opinion on this.
That's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But if Toronto Maple Leafs, if the Toronto just media would just like let them just work together and figure things out and go from there, it'll be great. But they're just not. Any little decision they're going to make, any little breath they take, they're going to be right there. And I don't know if it's going to affect them. Think they're going to be ready for that?
All right, you ready for a great post-to-post picks?
Yeah.
Who is the first player off of the Toronto Maple Leafs roster? Like, what is the first move that Brad Treliving makes? I'll pull up the roster right now. But I do think it's a good question. Like, what are they going to do? Who's going to go? Who's off of the island? It's Survivor. You're getting voted out. We got Yarncroc, Matthews, and Marner on the first line. Kerfoot, Tavares, Nylander. Bunting, O'Reilly, Achari. Giordano, Camp, and Lafferty. And I'm not talking like I'm not talking like free agent walk. I'm talking like I'm trading you. You're gone.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be I feel like the third and fourth lines are going to be safe. It's someone from the first and second.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. They got to unload some of that contract money.
Mm-hmm. Fuck.
On the back end, they got Riley, Shen, Brody, Hall,
why was
McCabe, and Liljegren, but I don't think the back end's where they're working with. I mean, we could look at goaltending, too. Matt Murray and Joseph Wall. Who is the first one gone?
Murray should just be fucking... He shouldn't even be there right now. Shane Doan. They're not... I don't think they're going to look at goaltending at all, both of them. They're going to look at... Oh, fuck. William Nylander is too... I like Nylander. Maybe Tavares?
Yeah? You think Tavares? Is that what you're going with?
Who's the other...
So you got top two lines, all right?
Yeah.
That's what we'll look at. Yarncroc, Matthews, and Marner. Kerfoot, Tavares, and Nylander.
Marner's been really good. In my head, I'm just like, maybe they'll ship him. No, I'm going to go Tavares.
All right. That's our post-to-post picks for this week, by the way. I do think that the Toronto organization wants to ship Tavares. I think that his contract is too heavy for them to ship him. You're going to have to wind up with a Provorov situation where you're retaining 30%, which
Somehow.
doesn't help you.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else you can do other than buy him out, which I think they could also and probably should also do. He's aging. I put him in the same group with like a Patrick Kane. Like, he's performing, but like not enough to how much we're paying him. I do like the pick of Tavares because if he can make something happen and get enough in return to make it worth it, I think he should. But I did say Marner, and I think what you said is like he is performing, so they probably won't want to move from him. But if you think that he is performing, guess what? He is now a highly touted asset that you can get a lot for in return. You've seen what he can do in the playoffs, so like you move him to a team that's built physically, and now he can be the guy that is protected in the playoffs.
Right.
You know,
and if you're looking for goaltending, I think he's going to be fucking gold to throw out there. Catch a huge fishing net right there.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's really like I think they are going to look to defense. You know, if they can bring in a big name defenseman and someone that'll back their guys up, like it just like it was embarrassing in the second round for these guys. Like Jesus Christ,
yeah, it looked bad.
So that's funny.
Okay.
Tavares and Marner. I think Matthews is too much of a golden boy to be moved on from.
There was talk about that, but more you think
you
about
could.
it, like, no.
It sounds bad, but like he is like McDavid, Crosby, Ovechkin to this team, right? In quotes. But like he was Kyle Dubas's guy in a way, right? So it's like we moved on from Dubas, so like maybe we get rid of this guy too. Get rid of the fucking weasel, you know? Pop goes the weasel. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll wait and see.
I don't think they'll do it. I think he is going to be a franchise guy.
Oh yeah.
If he wants to be.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think Matthews is going anywhere. But let's move on. Can you imagine just like breaking news, just like, hey, we just moved on from Allison Matthews? I feel like a first round
bag
pick.
They would get in return. Straight up Matthews for Bedard.
No. No way.
You don't think they would?
Stop.
Why?
No,
would
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
You do.
We
I can see it on your face. I know you do. I
tr-
can see that you want to go down this rabbit hole.
We went down a rabbit hole with who's the team that I brought up, but just like what would Chicago take like for Bedard? Like if we're talking about trades. It's just like if like So if like Toronto just like, hey, we'll give you fucking Austin Matthews.
Yeah, Matthews for Bedard.
I think that's a 1-for-1, really.
I'm asking you, dude. I'm putting it on your lap. What do you think?
We haven't seen. Oh man, that's talking about betting. Just like
it's a proven commodity for an unproven commodity.
Yeah, right.
What do you think? If you're the Chicago Blackhawks, do you do it?
Oh, God, I would ask for something else too.
On top, yeah. I think I would too. I also think I wouldn't do it regardless. Like no matter how high the price point is. This is similar to the Peterborough Pete saying we're not getting rid of Bedard because when he gets drafted and he's in his Peterborough Pete's shit, that's going to be always remembered that like he was a Peterborough Pete's guy.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
So I think for them this is the future of our organization. We're not going to mortgage the future for. I mean, put Austin Matthews in the Blackhawks lineup. Are they going to the playoffs? Are they even winning in the first round?
Right.
No.
No.
You know, so it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. It made me think for a second, dude. I'm like,
All right, let's move on here. We got some unfortunate news here, too, for Czech hockey. So the Czech Hockey Hall of Fame has closed its doors due to lack of funding. Video this week of Dominic Hasek picking up his old equipment that sat in the Hall of Fame made its rounds around social media. According to reports, the Czech Hockey Hall of Fame apparently ran into financial troubles and is no longer have the means to keep the hall up in operation. There is speculation that a new Czech Hockey Hall of Fame will be built, or the exhibits may be housed at the O2 Arena in Prague. However, nothing has been announced officially yet. A new building would likely take a few years to be completed. Kind of sad news for I guess Hockey Hall of Fame just in general, for especially Czech. I sent you the video this week. It was earlier this week of. It's like, that Dominic Hasek? And I'm like, the hell's he doing? And finally, some of the comments, because the post I saw really had, like, nothing. Finally, some of the comments was like, yeah, that's going down. I had to go down a rabbit hole with that.
They just
like,
fucking
Jesus.
Arizona Coyote the Bills. They just not paying them.
Wild.
Like, we're closed. We're closed now.
What happens for,
Hey,
like...
I emailed him, Dominic Hasek, come get your shit. He's like, okay. I guess I will.
I guess. What happens to, like, if you go to, like, the Hockey Hall of Fame in, like, Toronto, just, like, there's a bunch of old stuff from, like, guys who've now deceased. Like, what happens? Like, say if it's not gonna happen, but say if they close down and they just, like, be like, hey, you need your gear back. What the fuck happens? Does it give it to, like, a family member? Like, this is your grandfather's shit. Can you grab it, please? Here's a carriage. Here's a Stop and Shop carriage.
Hey, did you know the ducks at the park are free? You can literally take them. You just go there and take them. No one's gonna say anything. They're free, dude.
You can catch one.
What do you mean, dude? It's a duck. You don't think you could catch a duck? You call yourself an athlete playing hockey, and you can't catch a duck?
I don't know, man. Ducks bite. No bueno.
Yeah, you can sneak up behind them.
Sneak behind,
You're
grab the
fucking real
wings.
sneaky with it.
That's your
That's
answer.
the way my mind works.
That's your
Yeah,
answer to
yeah.
that. Okay.
It's a deep look inside the mind here.
All right.
You know,
All right. That's Chris's answer to my question. So everyone,
birds aren't real.
birds aren't real. I saw that as a bumper sticker today. Not today. This week. I'm like, what the fuck? All right. So whatever Chris said, think about that. I'm not even gonna answer that question myself either. So
It's not a question, dude. I'm just telling you. The ducks at the park are free.
ducks of the park are free. That's it.
Just take them.
Moving on. All right, so the Russian machine. Ovechkin has applied to patent the phrase Russian machine never breaks. If approved, the saying cannot be used without his consent. Any money made off of the phrase will unofficially go directly to Vladimir Putin for the war in Ukraine, where the Russian machines always breaks.
Why did you write this?
And other news and different OV news, Ovechkin's son Sergei now has his own official hockey card. You can now find him in the 2022-2023 Upper Deck Series 1 hockey packs as card number 191.
We're going to need more of that. That's cool.
That's really fucking cool. It was like just like little OV with his Ovechkin 8 like in the card. I'll put it up for everyone watching. I thought that was really fucking cool to see. He became a fan favorite during the Hockey Hall of Fame, the All-Star game with Ovi and him. I think it's always fun to see like the hockey dads with like their sons and daughters like on the ice, and it's kind of fun to see. I think more so Sergei Ovechkin is more of a blow up because they're just like, oh, this is the new generation coming up, buddy.
I know what bothered me. Know what bothered me that I brought up to you before too. They call him Ovi Jr. and they don't even have the same name. It's like Alex and Sergey. Like that's not a junior. I get why they're doing it, but like
it's not a junior.
That kind of bothers me a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Just the name Ovi, I guess, Ovi Jr.
Yeah,
but whatever. So I'm gonna see. That'd be cool to add to your card collection too, if we can find that. All right, so moving on. Fans hate Jack Edwards. Jack Edwards was voted worst broadcaster in the league by fans. 15,000 fans voted. Seattle Kraken's announcer was ranked best overall. Are you with me on that? I feel like I saw this. I'm like, I hate Jack Edwards, but then there's a few others that I'm not a fan of either.
I think I hate Homer fans in general.
Yeah.
So he just falls into that category for me where like, and now you are broadcasting the game professionally and you're like clearly picking a side here on calls that like you totally shouldn't be. Like, that really wasn't that egregious, Jack. We don't really need to freak out and yell on the microphone, Jack. What are we doing here?
And then he like shits on players too. Pat Maroon is like the most recent one.
What's Biden say? Come on, Jack.
Come on, Jack.
Listen, Jack.
Come on, Jack. Come on, man. Come on, man.
But I just don't think he's like. He might be the worst. Yeah. Okay. All right. He might be the worst. I can't name a worse one, so he might be the worst. But I think Nesson should have moved on from him a while ago, and that's nothing against him personally. It's just
I thought Leah Hextall, just for that one clip.
The shootout where
clip,
she just does not care.
I just
She's like, I want to go home.
I think if you say Leah Hextall and like that clip just goes off in my head immediately. It was like, ugh. But then like I think about that, I'm like, I'd rather that than fucking Jack Edwards.
Would you though? Like no one's really announcing anything. It's like, would you rather have someone that's announcing very one-sided towards the home crowd, or someone who's literally not announcing anything at all? Because like she didn't tell you what happened until like 10 seconds after it happened.
At least I can listen to the game unaggravated.
You wouldn't know what was going on. If it's a radio broadcast, you just sit there and be like, what's going on?
What the hell's going on? Oh, they won? Who? Who won?
Yeah, I think they're probably bottom two. I feel like Jack Edwards would be back next season anyways.
There's a lot of Boston people here that fucking love Jack Edwards, and I just don't.
All the Homer fans love him because they're like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Jack is right.
That should have been a slash.
That was a tripping. Oh my God.
He chipped his stick. Look at the paint. Look at the paint.
God.
He's gonna have to go to pure hockey tomorrow.
Oh God. Why did he bite on Brad Marchand's stick like that? Yeah, he would. Like Brad Marchand would do some scummy shit, and Jack would be there and be like, nope, wasn't Brad Marchand doing that. I don't know. Moving on to the playoffs here, finally, for our last bit of this podcast. So before I got a few notes here that I do want to talk about before we jump actually into everything. So Game 1 fact of the NHL finals. Since the NHL adopted the best-of-7 format, which was in 1939, the team that wins Game 1 has won the Cup 76% of the time, which is 63 out of 83.
I like those odds. I like those odds, Matt.
Vegas, buddy. All right, fun fact. Fun fact, the Stanley Cup holds 17 cans of beer in it, which I thought was pretty fucking interesting. That video I sent you, I'm like, I paused it. Actually, I didn't pause it.
It kind of bothers me that it's one shy of an 18-pack, though.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
Maybe that should be 18 beers.
I didn't think it was even going to make 17, to be honest. I was like, maybe 10.
I would have said 12. Going. I thought 12 would have been the number.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, holy shit. And it just kept going. So just think about that when when you win the Stanley Cup and guys are just chugging out of that cup. You're just like, Jesus Christ.
I don't think they're like drinking the whole cup.
Yeah, but imagine that shotgun.
That's not a shotgun. Wow. You can't stab the Stanley Cup.
You could bend it. You can
fucking throw it on the floor if you're the fucking Colorado Avalanche.
Nowhere else you could find beer though. For the Vegas Golden Knights, Larry Flint's Hustler Club, a strip club in Vegas, as well as many other locations such as Cleveland, Ohio, New York, San Francisco, Nashville, Shreveport, L.A., New Orleans, Illinois, and St. Louis. Not sponsored yet. Has come out and offered free lap dances for life if the Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup. Is that why they're up 2-1 in the series right now?
It definitely was why they were up 2-0 in the series. I'll tell you that.
The fire under their ass right now to get some free lap dances. I wonder if that's just for the Las Vegas area.
I would think so. I mean, you can't just fucking.
What if they get traded to New York?
Show up in Illinois and be like,
hey, I won the cup.
Do you know who I am? No, it's Illinois.
No one knows who I am. All right, so just like it's been going on for quite some time now, but we have another cup restriction for anyone who wants to know. The Stanley Cup will, again, not be allowed to be taken to Russia due to ongoing war in Ukraine. Both Florida and Vegas' all-time series record in the Stanley Cup Finals is 0-1. This will be the first Stanley Cup for either team. I think I messed up with that stat.
Yeah, I think they won in 96, right? Was the Panthers?
Panthers, yep.
Yeah.
But, so there's only one Barkov. No, not Barkov. There's only one Barbashev, yep. And
Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky, yep. Those are the only one Russian per team in the Stanley Cup Finals.
That's all that's allowed.
All it's allowed. It's all we allow. So we also have fighting off fans here. CBS Miami reporter Samantha Rivera had to strong arm a Vegas fan this week. While trying to report on the game at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, a Golden Knights fan tried to get in her shot. She immediately pushed him out of the way and kept on reporting. She later tweeted, "Listen, I don't give a damn what team you're rooting for. Get the hell out of my face while I'm working and respect that I'm here to do my job."
Oh, that's where you cut that tweet off?
Yeah.
Because she also tweeted, "Can't wait to get back with the classy fans in Florida." Fucking, I don't care what team you root for. Oh, really?
Oh,
Doesn't
really?
seem like that. Don't worry. Listen. If I want to get on TV
She's fun
and
at
I've
parties.
had 8 beers at the Vegas Golden Knights
Nice party.
game,
That are like
should be allowed to get on TV.
$20 a beer,
I
by
should
the
be allowed
way.
to get on TV.
Yeah, hell yeah. I paid primo for
No,
this.
I'm all with her here. Like, fuck
Yeah.
that guy.
No,
You
fuck
should
yeah.
not have done that. You're a piece of shit. She did a great job
I
boxing
loved
out.
it. Yep, I loved it.
She should be in front of the net for Florida, boxing out the fucking Golden Knights players, helping out down
Yes.
there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because fucking
All for that.
the Panthers guys just aren't getting it done.
Toronto Maple Leafs. Hey, look at her. You know, you're looking for a defenseman that can get the job done.
Toronto 6,
Hey, yeah, you're right. Oof. Give her a look.
the PHF.
Good man. Good girl. Good woman. Sorry. Ladies from Letterkenny.
Unreal.
Unreal. All right, so we got a few more bits of news here, and you're gonna love this next one. Your boy Biz was chirped this week by Connor Bedard. He joined Wayne Gretzky, Biz, and the crew this week. Out of respect, talks about the very successful careers that the panel had, and then there was Biz. Gotta deflate those pumped up tires Biz has at some point.
I forget what Bettman said too. They had Bettman on, and he fucking dummied Biz as well. I forget what he
Really?
said. Yeah, it was something like, it was something about like how much money they made, and he's like, I think Bettman was basically like, "You're done." Like, I forget. I'm fucking this up bad, but Bettman fucking sued him too.
Nice.
Like Biz goes on Chicklets and fucking hates Bettman. He's like,
Oh,
his
yeah.
fucking New Balance shoes showing up.
Bet was able to just like get a swing back at him. That was cool. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
it was
that.
funny.
It was just
I
fun.
bet Biz was like fucking shaking in his fucking
like,
pants.
come
So
on,
like
his
with
job's
him,
on the
yeah,
line.
right.
Yeah.
Like that dude controls everything about
Everything.
your job.
Mhm. It was cool to see Connor Bedard is like not even in the NHL yet, just hanging out with like.
I think
the
he knew he
greatest
could get
of all
away with it
time.
too. It's fucking hilarious.
And then there's Biz. So it was just perfectly placed
Yeah.
too. So moving on, we got the Panthers' new tradition here. The Panthers started a tradition where they give a shared dog bone that everyone bites to the player who shows the most dog in them that game. It is COVID friendly, but
They spray it with Lysol.
spray it with Lysol and all this shit. But it's actually pretty cool. Just throw it in there. Just throw it in there. Maybe we should do that. Maybe get the dog.
You and your men's league team should though. I think that's a great idea.
because we're the dogs. Yeah,
Yeah, right?
Hell yeah.
And you sent me a picture this week of a Viking beer hat, and I said, "You don't need to buy me that, even though it's only like fucking $12.98. But it would be a great
For beer league.
like beer league, MVP giveaway in the locker room for a team like the Vikings. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Right. You have the greatest ideas. I should just email you shit.
Dude,
and be like,
the ducks at the park are free. I'm telling you, bro.
That's gonna be the title of this episode. People will
Yeah.
be like, "What does this mean?"
Yeah.
Like, you gotta wait a little
Stanley
bit.
Cup Finals and the ducks at the park are free.
Free. That's it. It's Canada now. Matthew Tkachuk is the PM machine. Tkachuk had fourth most PIMs during the regular season with 123. Patrick Maroon was number one with 150. Pretty close. Tkachuk seems to be racking them up with 36 PIMs so far in the Stanley Cup Finals. I think it went up actually a little bit this tonight. I didn't add that, but crazy to see Matthew Tkachuk there. PIM machine and can still fucking get it done.
Dude, that stat was before Game 3 started. He had 36 PIMs in 2 games.
That's wild.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot of PIMs.
That's a lot of PIMs. And then we got the number one cop on the force is back. Sergei Bobrovsky had third highest save percentage in conference finals since the NHL went to a 16-team playoff. Number one was 2003 J.S. Jaguar with a .992 save percentage with the Ducks. Number two was 2013 Tuukka Rask with a .985. 3 is this year's Sergei Bobrovsky with a .971. Fourth was Artis Urbe with a .962 save percentage. And the fifth one is 2019 Tuukka Rask with a .956. So Tuukka, both of them, and Sergei Bobrovsky joining the club here. Sergei Bobrovsky, like, not even lying. I feel like every time we talk about Bobrovsky, I mean, Game 1 and Game 2 was kind of just like a kind of hurt, but you're not lying when you say like he's back in like his Vezina ways, because he again, like just tonight, Game 3, he got him to overtime. He got him that win in that overtime there too. So, Bobby, what are you looking up?
I am looking up. I'm
If
trying to
Ducks are free?
figure out
Like, can you get arrested if you steal a duck from the park? Is that what you're looking at? Right now?
Every goalie on this list
Yeah.
lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, or lost in the yeah.
Yeah, Tuukka Rask lost.
Did Jaguar win in 03? He might have. Rask lost both. Irbe, I believe, lost. Because I think that's supposed to be 03, maybe 02.
Yeah, it was 2003.
Yeah, I think maybe Jaguar might have won, but every other goalie has lost.
Damn.
We'll see.
See,
Also, the Vegas Golden Knights have thrashed the goaltenders throughout the playoffs. I didn't put the stat in here, but they were all below, I want to say, 890 save percentage.
Wow.
Every goalie that the Golden Knights have gone up against, they turned into under an 890 save percentage.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Look at you, the Vegas Golden Knights guy.
Let's fucking go, dude. You don't give a fuck about me. You know that? That's what I've realized about this, okay? Okay? You don't
give
care
a fuck
about me. I don't give a fuck about you?
Yeah.
How
no.
much money do you have on the Panthers?
None.
Yeah, exactly. I have money on this team right
Heart over money, baby. I got all heart here.
here.
They're coming back. They're coming back, baby.
What is there to like about this Florida Panthers team?
Have I not said this since the beginning, since we did the podcast, where I'm an underdog kind of rooter?
They're kind of the underdogs, but like
What do you mean?
they're pieces of shit.
What do you mean?
Have you seen how they play?
They have Florida Panthers right now in the Stanley Cup Finals. If
You want the 18th best team in the NHL to win the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
Why?
because
They are statistically eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs before it even started.
that is why
This is the John Scott of the playoffs.
that is why this story be absolutely fucking wild. Like they don't deserve. They had no.
They kind of do deserve it.
They
though.
have no fucking reason at all to be in this.
That part's true.
Round-
But
round-
they were the President's Trophy winners last year.
There is no one, absolutely fuck all no one when the playoff brackets first started and the fans are putting in their picks for like round one.
Yeah.
It was all Boston because why the hell?
I think even like Florida Panthers hardcore homers no one had a bracket with Florida winning it all.
No. They're like, why the hell would the Florida Panthers even win a single game against the Boston Bruins?
And
guess
then knock
what?
out 3 of the top 5 teams in the league.
Yeah. Not only that, they came up from being down 3-1 against the Boston Bruins and kicked them out. Oh, and guess what? They went on to round 2. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is another greatest team in the league. Then they
Shut the fuck up, dude. They won 1 playoff round. You're just trying to piss me off. You know that?
and then they beat
You don't care about
and
me.
then they go on to round 3 where they almost pretty much swept the fucking Carolina Hurricanes. Another one
Another
of the
team
best
that doesn't
teams
show up in the
fucking
conference
league.
finals.
It's like Jesus Christ! Like this again.
All right, listen.
17th seed team for some reason going through one of the top 5 teams in the league
Look,
right now.
They beat the best team in NHL history in the regular season. Yes, I don't think that team. Well, I shouldn't say that. All right, they beat that. I'll give you that.
Okay.
They beat a
Toronto?
team that had never won a playoff round in the past fucking 5-10 years. It hadn't won a playoff round in fucking 30 years. Cost me fucking $5,000. You know, the Beetlejuice clip.
Beetlejuice.
And then they beat the Carolina Hurricanes, who haven't won a conference final game since fucking I don't know when.
Yeah, but they could have.
Frauds.
I will say now.
FRAUDS frauds.
I will say now that Florida does seem to be finding out that
They barely squeaked out a win. Don't even bring it up. I don't even want to hear what you have to say. What was it?
I'm just saying, like, I think the Florida Panthers are finally seeing their kryptonite here with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yes, yeah.
I think I think the Vegas.
I don't think they know how to beat them yet. I think they
Yeah.
squeaked out a win tonight, but they don't
They're
really
still
know what they're doing.
stuck.
They don't have any fucking discipline to stay out of the penalty box. They want to get under their skin so bad, but Vegas is just like, I don't play that shit. I
Right.
put the puck in the net.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just like, especially coming in, like I feel like Vegas just like comes in on the offensive, like almost like untouched, and like the plays they can make is kind of unreal. Like I don't know what the hell the back checking or defense has been like for the Florida Panthers, but I feel like there's always like a perfect pass in the fucking slot for some reason.
Yeah.
For a Vegas to a Vegas player.
They
And
don't
I'm like,
turn the puck over either, Vegas.
No.
I don't know who Florida's two-way forward is. Like, I don't know if they have that. They don't have like a Bergeron. I think Eichel has adapted that game mindset, and he's been very good as like the first forward back and like back checking, you know, like putting the pressure on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Florida has that.
No.
And then the amount of times I've seen guys go down the tunnel and come back in general. Gudis, Kachuk, Montour, like these guys are getting hurt but playing through it. So like they are grinding them down.
Oh yeah,
it's nuts.
It's just it's fucking crazy to see. And
Vegas in 5.
Florida Panthers in 7.
7, dude.
7.
If this fucking goes 7, I'm gonna be bullshit.
It's going 7.
If it goes 7, I think the game 7 is on the following Monday.
Yeah.
So if we do that, listeners, you probably won't get an episode next week, but you will get one maybe midweek the week after is what I'll say.
Yeah.
But if it ends up going 6, me and you will. How about we show up Friday anyways?
Yeah.
We'll hang out and watch game 6, maybe upstairs.
Yeah.
And then if it ends, we'll come down and record. If it goes 6, obviously, because it's probably not, but it'll go 5 and Vegas will win. But if it goes 6, we'll watch the game upstairs and then we'll come down and record. And if Vegas wins, we'll record. If not, we'll just fucking do it next week.
Yeah.
After game 7. So that's the plan.
When the Florida Panthers win, right?
Unreal. If it goes 7, they might win. Bobrovsky showed up tonight. Bobrovsky did not show up the past 2 games.
Know what also hurts the Florida Panthers too, because we were just talking about Matthew Tkachuk and the Pims, is that Racco Gudis, Matthew Tkachuk, was it Lundell? They're just like, what the fuck are all these fights and scrums for? Like you're having a hard time against them. Why are you putting yourselves in the penalty box?
And it wasn't even like in game 1 and 2. It wasn't even like, let's do this because it's like smart. Let's get in the mix. It was like Kachuk's gonna waltz over and punch a guy in the face while the ref's watching him when he wasn't even involved in the play, and then look at him with his palms up like, "Why are you calling me?"
Yeah, right. I don't know. Another
Just
Brad
dumb
Marchand
ideas.
back in the day, but
all right, you ready to do this shot?
I'm ready.
I am not. We got Jameson tonight. I'm probably gonna throw up.
I love JMO, Betty. Love it. But again, I'm wearing red for the Florida Panthers because they're gonna fucking take it.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers. Yeah, buddy.
Oh, not straight, man. It burns so much, dude, every time.
Really?
It's like not like here. It's like fucking here.
Interesting. You said you're gonna. It's the mix of the premiere and that. You said you're gonna be hungover from this. No way. No fucking way. You had like 4 premieres though. Maybe that.
Yeah, no, like 4 premieres and then one of these. Yeah, like this won't hit me until I'm like fast asleep an hour into my dreams and I just have lucid dreams. I have Eric Andre in my bedroom. Nightmare.
Was that the one?
I get to see the Hat Man.
Was it?
Have you heard about that one?
No.
They take too much NyQuil. You see the Hat Man.
See that? You see the one I sent you, or maybe you sent me? It was Eric Andre who signed him out. Was it Johnny Knoxville or Steve-O? Where?
Oh, the taser. Yeah,
taser.
It's Johnny Knoxville just unfazed by the taser.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville. Yeah. They brought a taser to fuck with Eric Andre, and what a drop. And so Eric Andre picked it up and decided to fucking tase the shit out of Johnny Knoxville.
Didn't move.
And he just unfazed. I'm like, dude, you are fucked. Like I think like compared to the pain, what's the word I'm talking about? Like
threshold.
The pain threshold between Johnny Knoxville, like an NHL player, must be fucking like this. Because I've seen jackass dudes like go on the ice almost ass naked and just like take slap shots like fucking bare skin. So just like, these guys.
Yeah.
Has to take it.
If anyone wants some new TV to watch, me and Matt have been watching. I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. They're on season 3. Great sketch comedy. Very not appropriate, but like
no,
they don't like. It's Tim Robinson. He's the guy, and he takes basically like SNL sketches that didn't make the air and uses that. But he also has like, I don't want to disparage them, but like shit actors.
Yeah,
like just some random like instead of like I feel like actors in shows are usually like young like. It sounds bad, but like, young and like they've been doing it for a while kind of thing. These just seem like random, like not old people, but like, I don't know, 40s is probably the youngest other actor on the show and up. And it's just like, it's fucking hilarious. It's a great show. Sometimes
they'll have special guests on there. Like we just saw one with Bob Odenkirk on there, but
Andy Samberg was on one too.
Yeah. I will say though, like when a sketch hits, it fucking hits,
and
when
some
it
of them
doesn't,
are just like, can this end? Yeah,
shit.
They go for a while too.
Yeah.
It's like, can this end?
And some of them are like pretty funny, but like it's kind of like Whitest Kids, at that point where just like they don't know how to end it, so it just ends brutally.
Yeah.
But there's a few that like I could probably at this point now just send you a photo. It doesn't even need to be
The memes that people are making, they're so good. And it's like, this is another one of those Netflix shows that I feel like there's a market out there where Netflix is paying people to create memes of their shows to get people to watch them.
And it's working.
The Tiger King, is that what that was called? Whatever the Tiger show was during COVID.
Yeah.
That was big. Everyone was like, meme. I was like, I'm not fucking watching this. Like, I understand this gimmick.
Yeah.
But when I saw him and he was like, I didn't do fucking shit. I was like, I got to find out what the fuck this is about because that's hilarious.
Yeah, mainly because, exactly. The
meme got me into it. Like, the meme sucked me in this time. But last time I was like, no, you're not getting me with this one.
It is funny how, like, it's not overdone quite yet because I've seen it about 1,000 times, but they're all, like, in different scenarios.
Yeah.
And every time it's just so fucking funny. We started about the Coors Light one where he's like, I didn't do fucking shit. The Jamie Benn one.
Yeah.
When he comes back from
Jamie Benn, if he had to answer to the media the night that he fucking, who did he kill? He landed on their head.
Oh, yeah. With this stick.
It was Stone, wasn't it? Maybe it was Stone. His landing point was what he said in the media.
Yeah.
But like the night before, they were like, "Oh, if Jamie Benn had to answer the media the night before," and it's like
I didn't do fucking shit. I didn't do any of this.
All right, you ready to call it out?
All right, I'm ready to call it out.
You want to do it? You want me to do it?
So why'd you clap?
I was seeing what you want to do. You want to do it? You want me to do it?
You do it.
Thanks everyone for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description. The Ducks in the Park are free, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Peace.